Welcome in. What's up? How's it going? You're always first, and I appreciate that. Sorry, I'll get to the character wheel once I get a couple more people in here because I know that some people have characters that they really want to see me do. Yes. Same one from Monday. I added some stuff off off camera yesterday, trying to get this motion nice and smooth before I start adding the water effects. Still got to refine some stuff, add some missing these head cones at certain points. Got to make sure that stays smooth. Probably gonna have to rework this too because a little off model, but it's alright. Just roughing it in. I've got some time. Ish. Did you put any characters on the character wheel? I forget. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Hmm. Back here. 2 frames. 4. shapes internally. But I do like the way that the head moves, and I like the way that the arm moves. I think that's good enough to probably start adding some water effects, and I've got a shot that I want to refer to, so no, it's really good, in my opinion. And then I gotta do this one. That one's pretty basic. I can just add some in-betweens, and I'll probably just take a frame before or after and just move it in between. No, I really like the way that his feet kind of drag around behind him, and I like the way that his hand's gonna cut through the water. Because in the original, he's just kind of, it's just like a JPEG that's just flying through and getting smaller. So I wanted to add some character there. And obviously, no shade to the original animators because they were probably on a crunch. So hold them accountable. What's up? Welcome in. How's it going? Sorry, I sound like this. I'm feeling a little sick, but I'll try not to cough into the mic. How are you today? Thank you very much. I will try. I'm gonna get to the character wheel in a second. Thought I'd let some more people trickle in. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to turn on my music. Sorry. That's why it was dead silent in here. Have you been on the Magma board in a bit? I have not. I usually just make a new board for each stream, and I don't like go back to it. I guess I could make like a community one for the Discord for people to just doodle in whenever they want. If they're ever bored and want to collab, that could be fun. But yeah, I just make a new one. Generally speaking, I don't know if there's a limit to how many I can make, but I really appreciate that service that they just let you kind of have that server up and have whoever you want draw in there. All right. Let's see. Oops. Caps lock. Hmm. I'm gonna keep animating for a little bit until we get like one or two more people in here, potentially. Just for the sake of, so that people can see me do their character. I know that there's a lot of people who want to see that, so whether or not they even follow me anymore is a different story. As long as you're okay watching me animate for a little bit. If not, I can just start doing character wheel. Okay, cool. And I will just keep chipping away at this. Honestly, I could just clean that. It's your channel. It's your channel. Do what you want. Fine, I will. No, I do it for the fans. I do it for the love of the game. I do need to get this done at some point soon, but let's do the water effects. Let's see this. I want to do the background. What is this? Oh, that's the water splash. Okay. Let's do water splash and water. I'll do water splash and water droplets separately. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just do water effects. I think I'll just do water effects as a whole. Maybe I'll do that on ones. So who is this character again? This is Robot Boy. I don't know if you ever watched that cartoon. It was on in like 2000, I want to say 6-ish on Nickelodeon. It was really good. It was like a little kid, was like really intelligent, but was like getting bullied or something, and so this scientist found him and was like, "Hey, you're like the ideal uh empathetic child to teach my robot how to be empathetic and be a human. So can you take care of him for me and just like let him learn from observing you?" It was a good show. I want to look and see if I was correct about the timing on that when that came out. 2005. I was very close. I'm honestly impressed because it wasn't my favorite show, but I definitely remember watching it a lot. Ooh, you know what I also need to do is the fire effects. Uh, fire effects. Thrusters. Couldn't think of the word for his little jet boots. Let's do the thrusters first because let's see. Actually, first, I'm gonna get rid of any overlapping lines just for the sake of cleaning up, so I don't get confused. Did you finish the Toy Story one? I did not finish that one yet. I just needed to get it roughed out for. There's like a midpoint that they needed us to get it done by, so that they knew that we were still working on it actively. So I got done what I needed to, and it's mostly just the rough, and then I will. I will clean it up. I still also have to animate Buzz just kind of being idle in the background. Okay, so what I want to do, I have several different projects I'm working on. What I want to do is get the thrusters like centered, and then do like a secondary action on them. So I want to make sure that I'm tracking. Maybe I'll just do a soft edge and then a hard edge. Jagged edge, I guess is the better. I want it to, in the show, it's just like a little orb or like a little football, but I want it to be more like directional, like intentional, like that, and to like have a trail that follows it. Be very cognizant of the, the trailing action. I'm gonna just do that for that one. I just realized I'm working on the layer that he is on, and that is not what I want. You live in the U.S., and if you do, what are your plans for the 4th of July? I do live in the U.S., and I am hanging out with some friends for the fireworks. Nothing major. So add like a trail effect. I don't know what I want to do yet. Just to kind of have them. It feels like I need to flip it. I don't know why my cursor is doing that. It won't let me left click. Yeah, I love fire. Last year, my cousin's boyfriend and his best friend and his friend shot Roman candles at each other. I did that one year. That was fun. As long as there's nothing flammable around. Some shapes on the thrusters for the sake of variation. No, those are too central. Yeah. That shape. Sometimes there's just really good shapes that you make. It doesn't matter if it applies to the scene. It's just like that's a good shape. I wish I wasn't losing my voice. Oh, I don't have one on that. I don't need one on that. I don't want to do like globs. I think I might do globs. I think that would be sick. We're gonna see how that looks. That's the fun part of straight ahead animation is that you can kind of get away with a couple of things that are just like you wouldn't be able to otherwise. Like I want to see what that looks like. Actually, maybe the next one. I just realized I was working on ones. I might need to extend those. Let's see how that looks. It's getting a little lost just because it's the only thing. Me solo. Oh, I like that. Yeah, just a little sputter. I think that's kind of sick. Gotta make sure my plans are not falling through. I feel like this can be a little more drastic, actually. I'm gonna switch to my tablet so my user will be different. Oh, okay, no problem. Thank you. On your other account, awesome. Welcome back. I do appreciate you chiming back in and telling me you're still here because sometimes I'm like, I don't know, I could be alone. The viewer count is inconsistent on its updating, so that is genuinely appreciated. Really just trying as many different shape combinations. Just want to see what all I can get away with. solo it for now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like that jitter on the ones. Ooh. Yeah. I like how it kind of comes in slow and steady and then picks up as he starts changing his altitude. Yeah, let's look at that as a whole. Oh yeah. 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 Big fan. Sometimes you just nail it first try on like straight ahead animation. Oh, damn. That's sometimes I get into a rut where it's like I don't want to be making stuff because I'm like, it's just so much work. But then I sit down and I do it and I love every second of it and then the final product is perfect and it's like, "Oh my God, this is what art is for." Damn, I'm really happy with that. All right. Now I could duplicate it and just offset it and put it on the other foot, and I might do that actually. Or I could power through and do it twice. But we'll do that later. I'm just gonna move on to the character wheel and just assume that people are gonna move in. Um, Start showing up, hopefully, so they can see me do their characters if I get somebody's characters. I think that was my rule, was that if I get a character that people don't want, or not that people don't want, if there's a very specific character that I don't know that somebody else wanted me to do, and they're not here for me to do it for them, that I can't do it just because I don't know the character. Like genuinely, some of these characters I don't even have the name of, other than just like it's like Tabitha, and it's like there's so many Tabithas in modern pop culture. Like that could be anybody. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna leave this. No, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. some Sudafed, see if that clears it up. I'm also going to do a lozenge. That doesn't taste good. It's supposed to be cherry, but it tastes like, well, I just brushed my teeth, so. Alright, let's do the wheel, shall we? God, you can hear when my voice cracks. Alright, here we go. Who we got? Who we got? Woodstock! Let's go. I love Woodstock. The bird. Peanuts, obviously. Not the event. Which the bird is named after the event. That is a point of that is a fun fact that I'm aware of. Fun fact. Yeah. Yes. Oh, the ideal Woodstock. Ugh. Ugh. This lozenge is bad. Ugh. Is it just me, or do I just? Does anybody else get a wave where it's just like of anything? Or just like bleh? Like you can tolerate it for a minute, but then just randomly it's just like bleh, you know? There's no real expressions for Woodstock. It's very much like he's just kind of neutral, or he's like, oh, he's got a little smile. That's kind of weird. I don't know if that's official. He had teeth. Hmm. Now, something that's fun about Woodstock that I really like is that the back of his head is not distinct whatsoever. It is just a matter of squiggles and then watercoloring over top of him. He's very cute. I want to find that one's good. That one's good. Well, I'll use it as an example. Hello. Did the thing. Do this one. And let's see another good one. I'm trying to find one where he's like Woodstock discombobulated. Because there's a lot of shots where he's like dizzy or like he fell down or bonked his head or something. I'll just do Woodstock expressions. Sheet. Ah, yeah. I just keep getting waves of just bad flavor. It's like cherry, but it's menthol, and so I'm just getting the medicine taste. There's no cherry on this. How? All right. Well, I guess I'm rolling the dice. I guess I'm just going for it. You know? Photoshop, and I need this. Oh, hey, Robot Boy. All right. Yo, what's up? Welcome in. All right. I gotta practice Woodstock very briefly. I'm on my Toon Boom shortcut. Bullshit. Handwriting is not good. Everybody always assumes that I'm the best at handwriting because I draw things, but I am very specifically bad at writing. Alright, so like that, and then the back of his head is pretty just whatever you want it to be. His little body is so funny. He just like okay, I made him look like he's a little stoned, but that's okay. Maybe he is. He was at Woodstock. I also like his little tail. Maybe I'll do his full body. He's a simple enough character. Looks a little scary, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep this one. And it isn't like his beak is just kind of this. Actually, I think that's what I'm gonna do is get used to that S curve for his face. Like it is truly just an S right there. Like anything goes for his hair in the back as well. Like, this is not standard. This guy got away with nothing. Yeah, I just wanted to practice on his face, quote unquote. Okay, that's good practice. Okay. Is this software free? This is Photoshop. Um, unless you're talking about the software that I'm using to put the characters free floating on my screen, that is free. That's PureRef. I don't know if it's just PureRef, the website or whatever, uh, but I highly recommend it. It's great. Um, no, I'm using Photoshop. There are free options for Photoshop on basic browsers. I think one of them that I'm aware of is called Photopea. Is it Photopea? Photopea? Something like that. And it's essentially Photoshop, but it's in browser. So, Toon Boom is not free. Toon Boom is expensive, but I bought it a while ago, and I have a perpetual license. So, for animation, if you're trying to go for like free software, I recommend either Blender or I think Krita. Can you animate in Krita? Join the Discord. I have a software list that tells you all the specifics, if it's free, where to download it, links to the sites, whatever. Um, and I have those listed out there. If you're looking for something in particular, there are also cheap options. I believe I list cheap versus free. If you're looking for, okay, I'm gonna start. I will, unfortunately, be ignoring you for the next 10 minutes while I do Woodstock. Why are we not? Oh, because this wasn't saved. trying to do the equivalent of like a brow, but for a character, like Woodstock. You know? Uh-oh, what does straight ahead Woodstock look like? Like this, evidently. I like him. Backwards ass. There we go. It's hard to draw an imperfect line on purpose. Making very big Woodstocks. Does he open his mouth? I'm already using Krita. Bye. Bye. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you being here. Okay, so Krita is the. Does Woodstock whistle? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, well, not really a profile, is it? below Woodstock. That's pretty solid, I think. Eh. Want to give him longer hair, but it's also not going to look like Woodstock. I could give him like a mullet. Eh. Do I have room for another one? This one. I can work with that. I like this one off model for sure, but I really like that shape of his face. That is how I draw my S's as well. You can see right there. All right, there's Woodstock. I like a couple of these. That one's pretty solid for a 3/4 below view that I'd never consider for a second or a 2D animated character. I like that one. That one's all right. Forward facing Woodstock is a problem, but not my problem. All right, spin the wheel. How was my sketch I sent in the Discord? Do you remember me from last stream? Which sketches were you talking about? The ones that were on the pencil? I believe I remember you. I thought I commented on them, didn't I? If that was you, in fact, because they were really good. I like those. If you're the person I'm thinking of. All right, spin that wheel. Ooh, we're doing me? Or we're doing Pochita? Ooh, it got just barely to Pochita. Just barely to Pochita. You said it was awesome. It was some digital art and some Japanese lettering on it. Let me see. There's a lot of people in the Discord, and everybody's really good. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I really like that one. I really like the shading on it, too. Like the cell, the texture on that. Really good. Really nice. I need to get better at that cell shading. I also like the texture on the paper. Like it looks like it's on some kind of watercolor defaulted like low opacity background. Really cool. What did I just get? Pochita. Jesus, I can't miss Pochita. He's the guy. And it is Pochita, not Puchita. I always thought it was Puchita. Pochita. All right, let's get some Pochita in here. He's so cute. See, this is where all of the references I need are. Let's do. Here's a different expression. Did the thing. Man, I really wish there weren't just spoilers on the main page of the image search. That would be sick if people could fucking relax on that. Just haven't caught up to the manga. Season 2 isn't even out yet. Can we chill? Oh, little Pochita slippers. Yeah, let's do this one. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Are you doing a challenge right now? Chainsaw Man is an insane manga. No, it's beautiful. I love beyond all of the crazy, amazing art in it. I love the storytelling. Fushimoto, Fujimoto, Fujimoto is a genius when it comes to like combining slice of life with chaotic, crazy, out of this world designs and combat, and he's just a genius. Um, I highly recommend if you've only seen Chainsaw Man that you watch some of his other stuff. He's got a short series where he does like little short stories essentially, and they're just serialized whatever's. And I'm on 22 to 26, and they're just numbers. He doesn't have any name. I mean, they have little names, but I don't know any of the names. It's just the numbers. But they're really good too. And then um, he has another movie called Look Back, and it's phenomenal, and I cried. So watch Look Back. I'm not doing a challenge necessarily. It's more just something that I challenge myself to do, where I take a character from the character wheel based on what people want me to do, what characters they like, and I spin it. Whoever I get, I have to then put them into the scenario, or I use them for. I try to capture their style, and then I use that on whatever expression comes up on this website with expression references. So it's a matter of capturing expression, getting really good at that, and also matching styles. So then if I were to work on different projects, they can see that I can meet whatever the character model sheet is, or like having consistent character design throughout. So that's what I'm going for. Just a little personal challenge, if you will. That's the wrong one, and I always do that. And I always do that. And I always hate it. There we go. Range there. I gotta get his proportions down. So there are instances where his eyes are kind of forward facing. But they are still. I'm going a little too drastic with the perspective, I will say. They should be closer to this. How do I do a smile? I just go higher with it. I just go, yeah, just go up there. Doesn't have any ears. Yeah, this little thing. If I can get to it, I'll do that on some of those drawings. Look like little headphones. Do like a do like a profile shot. That's a pen. Just very briefly. Angry. Let's do an angry. Your angry eyes. It's not angry enough. Something like that. That one's not amazing. Turn away from the mic so I don't cough into it. All right. Let's start with Pochita. Oh, wait. Oh, so it's not in there. Okay. So much room. Four more. I'm gonna do them big. Something. What you do with teeth? Kind of like that was a weird sensation. That one's really good. I like that one a lot. Yo, what's up? Welcome in. Oh my goodness, I got a cough. Space. Pochita. He's a very fun character to draw. He's so cute and pretty simple. Pretty expressive. I really like that one. I honestly wish I had had gotten better references with Pochita because he does have that capacity to be more expressive. But I got so many of those ones with the guy with his back turned, which, again, I say this every time because he always shows up. I don't I'm not upset that he did it because I'm very fortunate to have people out there who are willing to do that for free, and I appreciate that. However, I need better poses. That's more. It's more on the curator of the site to not, just get rid of duplicate poses, right? Catch up with chat in a second. It's so many small ones initially. There we go. Like that. I like when they're all spread out too. That's fine. What's up? Sorry I'm late again. No, you're fine. This is hopefully my last busy week. Yeah. You good? You sound nasally. Yeah, I'm sick. I got something going on. It's all like right in here. I've got like phlegm pushing against my esophagus. The lozenge didn't do its job, and I took a Sudafed, and that's not doing anything yet. But I'm okay. Thank you. I appreciate your concern. I will be okay. I've been through worse. All right, let's spin that wheel. You missed my chat. What chat did you say? Oh, did you use the website called Magma? They're crazy art over there. I practice there. You can share a common board to several people to draw. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah. Um, we use Magma on Fridays. We do community drawing boards if I'm here on Fridays. So I just send out a Discord link. Anybody who wants to can participate. You join in, and we do whatever we want. We just draw stuff until I have to go. Sometimes we do little activities, but I don't. You can draw whatever you want. We've had some really cool stuff in the past. I think I posted them in the Discord if you want to look back at those. I think it's on the Doodle channel. If you want to look and see. Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure I'll have time this Friday. I'm trying to be better about making these commitments, but I also have a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, we're gonna make it work. Let's spin that wheel, shall we? Totoro. All right, let's go. Ooh, wheel, wheel, wheel. You have to chant or it doesn't work. All right, let me get Totoro up. So interesting about Totoro, he's not super expressive. He has the neutral and he has the smile, and that's it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do for more extreme poses. God, every time. Let's do the smile. Those ears are gonna be kind of rough already. That's crazy. See if there's anything else. The amount of Totoro AI art there is disgusting, especially considering what Miyazaki said about AI art. Spitting in the face of the man who made such an incredible piece of media. To just be like, oh, you know what? Actually, that thing he said about how so many of his friends have died and that they aren't here is a lack of humanity, and that art only exists for the sake of the people around you. And then they're just like, yeah, but we made AI. And it's like, brother, you missed the point of every one of his movies. Totoro cannot exist as an AI creature. It is simply impossible. It's foul. It's disgusting. I hate that people just deny artists their wishes. to see someone's media and go, here, I made it better, means you missed the point. That artist took, it wasn't just a matter of Miyazaki going, oh, I think this is cute. Let me make a full movie about it. No, no, no. There was something there that inspired him to take years of his life to craft this story. And for you to just go, here, I plugged it into AI in 2 seconds. I changed it. Didn't make it better by any means. Just foul. We need better education, that people can't critically think about how to make art, how art functions in society, how it exists within our relationships, how to conceive of art yourself. There are so many people who just can't. All the people who are like, "Oh, you're so talented." No, no, no. I'm not talented. I worked for this. I tried. I had to make this happen. It didn't happen upon me. It wasn't thrust to me. It wasn't dropped in my lap. I have clawed and scratched and bitten my way to the top. I'm not at the top. But you get the idea. None of this was gifted. I got to get people to start clipping my rants, because I feel like my rants could go ham on shorts. Boo. I think it was Lisa's suggestion. She was here just a minute ago, so she'll be back. Maybe. I don't know. She'll see it. She's in the Discord now. It's fine. Oh, I was confused. Sorry. One second. Hmm. The problem is that I'm drinking so much water to try and get all of the phlegm out of me, and then I have to pee all the time. So I really like that face. This. There's something interesting about expressions that I've learned in studying them, is that, like, there are so many instances where the slightest change can make the biggest impact. So, like, there is a huge difference between anger and happiness, but you could make angry happy with a couple of lines. So this, I just need to make him. If I change his eyebrows, angry, right? His mouth is wide open and it's pulled down in this shape. It's like a bean with the bottom open. Uh, so if I just made eyebrows, that's angry now, instead of just like a neutral yell, right? Um, the smile could be like a devious smile with eyebrows, right? Like, this could be sad if you do the lower lids, right? It's just a passive sadness. All of our expressions, the way that we analyze faces as humans, is so intricate, and the slightest variation can tell an entirely different story. So whenever I'm not great with social cues, so sometimes I'll pick up on the wrong emotions, and I just think that people are mad at me or something, even though it's like not the case. They just, in transitioning between facial expressions, they made a face, and I was like, ah, I messed up. Good night. See ya. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you stopping by, and I will see you hopefully Friday so you can participate in that canvas. I watched a documentary about how the newer generation is getting pushed beyond their capabilities. Scientifically, people have lost critical thinking skills. It's sad. A little, I mean a lot. Yeah, that's very sad. What do you mean the newer generation is being pushed beyond their capabilities? Like, pushed beyond their capabilities in that they're being like because of AI being so prevalent, like they're relying heavily on that, but then they're not learning anything? Is that what you mean? Pushed past the grade level. Interesting. because I'm imagining that we're actually regressing and that we aren't, we consider people to be stupider, so then we don't allow them to excel, if that makes sense. Because I remember in grade school, I think I was, like a higher reading level and like better at math than whatever my age group was, and I think that grading could be a problem because it's like not super accurate to everybody. Um, and there are like high concepts within math and language that you can't really, like, if I could be good at spelling but not necessarily at critical thinking and reading, right? Um, because those are two different, like, to me, those are two different parts of my brain that I'm using. It's memorization versus applied knowledge. And so I feel like they're like accelerated programs or whatever are good in certain instances, but they can be detrimental because I think I was a gifted kid who got left behind because they didn't consider that whenever I actually asked for help that they needed to give me any more help, they would just tell me to read it again, or they would give me extra time to do that. And it's like, no, 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 I need you to guide me, please. They are reliant on AI. The documentary was about how these middle schoolers were struggling with context clues and pronunciation of words in sentences. That I could attribute to lack of like social engagement, I think. Like a lot of what we do is on the internet, and so them not being able to pronounce things to me would register as they might know how to spell it, they might know how it's used in the context of a sentence, but if they've never used it to somebody, that changes the entire understanding of the word. I have a very specific example in that when I was in grade school, we read a book about the Holocaust, and they were talking about Nazis, and I had never heard the word Nazi, but I had read it, and I read it as Nazi, but I had never said it out loud. And then I had to read popcorn reading, and I said Nazi, and then I got laughed at, and then I was like, it would have been great for somebody to explain to me that this is not how you say it because it's a very weird word, right? It's a German word. It doesn't have anything to do with our language. And I was just following patterns. My pattern recognition is off the charts, but that is not a pattern you can follow. So, yeah. So I think it's probably a matter of like applied knowledge. I don't know if anybody in chat has ever heard. I really like philosophy. I really like different philosophical experiments or theorems or just hypotheticals. There's one theorem that I always come back to that I think is really interesting, and it's called Mary's room. So there's this woman named Mary. She's in this room, and she's always been in this room. She's never been outside of her room. This is hypothetical. Not a real woman that's trapped somewhere that we need to save. Um, and she has always been in this room, and the only thing in this room are books. And the books are all about color, and they just describe different colors, but they don't show any pictures of color. So Mary reads all the books she can on the color red. She knows about the wavelengths and that it is the longest wavelength and infrared and how red interacts with certain surfaces and how to mix red with blue to make purple. She knows all the ins and outs of how the color red would work in theory, but she's never seen it. So the theorem is, does she know what the color red is? And that goes to other things. There's other instances of like, can you possibly know about like racism if you've never experienced it, or like stuff like that. But the idea being, if you haven't felt it, touched it, smelled, like if you haven't applied every single sense to the thing, can you fully tell somebody else what it is to be that thing, right? So that's something that I think applies to that is if you've only ever read the words, you don't know what these words do. You don't know what these words mean. They could mean something to somebody else, but you wouldn't know that because you never said them. So I like Mary's room. It's fun. I pronounced poem incorrectly up until high school with no one correcting me. Save Mary. I'm gonna go save her right now. Um, yeah, I just like that theorem. Poem incorrect. That's that's another thing is that I think that a lot of the times there can also be instances of like uh localization, right? There's like accents that people have I'm from the Midwest, so I don't really have an accent, but we have certain phrases that other people are like, "That's stupid. Why would you say that?" And so with accents, you can have certain like localizations of words that like some people might say differently. Like, what was I thinking of? I had it and I lost it. Uh, drawer, drawer. We'll say drawer, like on a cabinet, a drawer. But some people would say drawer or wash. Some people, New York dialect is worsh instead of wash. Because my grandma is from New York originally, and she still says worsh, ironically. um, so that's fun. But yeah, but those are examples of things that are like not as significant. Those are insignificant. But it's the interaction with people, the community of it. You don't get corrected on things if you don't explore and say things. I think I was afraid to mess up when I was a kid, so I didn't talk a lot actually. Um, I think Pokemon is a really good example of instances where I would not know how to pronounce something, but I would say it with such conviction that other people just believed me that that was how it was said. I think I said, I think I always called Scyther Scissor. No, Scyther? Scyther. What's another one that was like I was very adamantly. Oh, I still mix up because I used to say it so often. I used to say Groudon, but it's Groudon. Like ground, Groudon. Groudon's a good one. Sometimes I still say Groudon, it'll slip. What's another one? I mean, some people say Rayquaza, some people say Rayquaza. I think I say Rayquaza. I say Rayquaza because do I say Rayquaza? Rayquaza. I say Rayquaza because it's a little easier to say. To be fair, no one tells you how to say those names. That is true. And sometimes there have been instances in the or in the anime where it is very specifically that they said it wrong. I'm almost positive. Like sometimes they pronounce it wrong. I think. I think there are certain words that I'm just like, that's not right. Like Ash just says stupid stuff sometimes. All right, let's practice Totoro. Maybe it's Totaro. I don't know. Probably not. It's two O's. Totoro. Okay. So my other thing is that I'm gonna have to cut off his head, and that feels wrong. It's just gonna be like a lump. His mouth goes like all the way. Very tiny. I don't know that I want to make his ears that specific. Like in this one, in this watercolor, the original concept art, I like that he's like fluffy. This feels like artificially fluffy. This might even be AI. I don't know. But even here, it just that it's on the edges of his horn. Now I understand they were animating things at like 60 frames a second, so they cut some corners and just did a straight line for the ears rather than trying to texture it and keep that consistency. I get it. His eyes are bigger here. Here also has that. I never remember line that indicates the shape of his nose. Ooh, his eyes are gross. Let me get rid of it. Save Totoro and Mary. He does bristle up. I forgot about the bristling. Yes, I haven't seen it in a while. Uh, Gotta get the eyes right. He also has a little shine in his eyes all the time, so I just do like open lines. Oh, he also has whiskers. Those are important. The whiskers did a lot for me, actually. That's crazy. Also, interesting that he has a middle tooth here, but then a middle gap here. Officially, he has the middle line. I feel like his teeth are good. This might be an AI image. Yes, in the umbrella scene where he smiles, he does have the middle tooth. I might do a rough outside. Also, the his ears are a little more. A little more up on the top of his head. He's got his head is actually more like flat. That and then his ears kind of thin actually, but a little bit closer together. And then these ears come up like this, and they're pretty tall. Yeah, that's a lot better. That's much better. Yeah. Uh, Also, his nose is a little bit higher. It's like between his eyes. Yeah, that might be that. That's pretty good. That's like on model. I could say that that's an original Ghibli sketch. I could lie. What? Okay, I think I cracked the code. That's what's funny about this exercise is that if I take my time, I can nail it. But when I do 1 minute for each character, they look like shit sometimes. I will admit, they look like shit. So it's really funny that I'm just like, I could lie, I could lie, I could post these and be like, look, I took a minute to do all of this stuff. That's one thing that pisses me off is when people are like, oh, just a little warm up doodle, and it's like the best thing you've ever seen, and I'm like, can you? How long did that warm up doodle take you? 4 hours? Did you warm up for 4 hours and then go to work for 8 hours? I also noticed you didn't post your work thing that you were actually working on instead of your warm up. Anyway, anyway, I'm not gonna be a jerk, but it sometimes I'm like, let's be serious. Anyway, all right. Before I start on Totoro, I'm gonna go pee. Too much water. Totoro was my first anime movie, so it's got a special place in my heart. I didn't like Totoro, but hear me out before you throw stones at me. Um, I watched a lot of Ghibli in college, and so I was expecting, like the first time I ever watched it was in college. So I was expecting a narrative. I was expecting some kind of story progression that is very traditional and like a hero's journey or like a rising action, that type of stuff. But there isn't really any of that in a Ghibli film. It's just kind of that there is not even conflict necessarily sometimes. It's more of just like dealing with something. There's this feeling that you go into the movie with, and then that feeling is resolved in such a way that you can like process your emotions, right? But not necessarily through a defeating of a villain or a conquering of a fear. It's just it happens. Uh, through several different means. You just see this progression of character, but it's not the same that I was expecting. And so I didn't like Totoro and I didn't like Kiki's because they were not what I was expecting. So I do want to go back and rewatch them at some point because at the very, I will always say that they're very fun and very well animated. They are. They're masterpieces. Um, but good movies are not necessarily the answer. I feel like potentially that's wrong just for the sake of I wouldn't recommend them to somebody else as like a movie. If it's an experience, absolutely. But I wouldn't say this is on par with shitty example, The Godfather. You know what I mean? Like a narrative story, setting examples, like changing a generation of people. You know what I mean? Um, I would say fun. I would call them fun, but not necessarily good, right? Anyway, that's me. It'll be easy to do from the back. Have you seen the sketch that looks more rendered than it needs to be? The Dragon one sketch. I don't think so. Send it in the Discord and I'll find it. If it's like a famous thing, but I feel like it's a meme potentially. I get it. I get why people wouldn't be into it, but this is who's never seen an anime anything until this point. That is fair. If that's the very first thing from anime you've ever seen, that is a very fair thing to take away, and that would probably be a letdown to then watch other anime stuff that's more westernized or like story wise more westernized. Um, but that's very funny. No, I the whimsy in any of the Ghibli films is so directly tied to childhood. Like somehow this old man knows what it means to be a 12-year-old girl. He just nails it. He's so talented. It's very funny. Um, I really like my favorite is Princess Mononoke, but that is because it's a little more narratively driven, and I like the action. I like the violence. I like the cool guy who takes a guy's head off with an arrow. Like so sick. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. If you can find that dragon sketch, I will be right back. can understand that distinction. I have some films that are like guilty pleasures that I'm like, these are not technically good movies, but they are fun and they are like from a very specific time in my life. So I get that. Or I get lost in my files. Hi to anyone joining. If you like Cullen, if you're a cool artist that likes to hang out, join the Discord. You too can see the meme because I can't post it here. I beg your pardon, a sketch? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's also like probably AI. Like the only difference is that the clouds have more lighting on them. I guess there is more texture on the dragon. No, I haven't seen that sketch, but that is so funny. Sketch. Just be honest, bro. The first one took 20 hours and the second one was another 10. Like, just say that. Nobody's judging you. I mean, they are, but like, fuck off. Grow up. Be honest. All right, we'll start on Totoro. He's got an arch for his head. He's got a little triangle nose. He's got a little triangle mouth. He's got little triangle ears. He's got little circle eyes. Goodness. All right, now that I'm looking at him, he is pretty complicated, but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna go. We're gonna just fly by the seat of our pants. Not bad for 1 minute. I'll take it. Now I have to draw Totoro in perspective. He looks naked without his whiskers. by drawing like off his silhouette. I really like this one. It's a very good subtle pose. Got plenty of room. Plenty of room. I say that, and then I'm going to immediately run out of room. Those whiskers do a lot of heavy lifting. I don't know if I can make Totoro smolder, but we're going to try. About making Totoro smile. I feel like he's not a sexual being in any way, shape, or form. is. I don't like that one. I don't like the smolder. I shouldn't have done that. That's cursed. Thank you very much. Where we at? Where we at? I don't know. I feel like I've seen it before the AI boom. Interesting. I mean, not that I didn't think that it was somebody was capable of making it, but that you know, the idea of making it very quickly and then somebody who wasn't up on how to make art, not understanding the difference between a sketch and a final, similar to that, uh, potentially. That was my thought initially. Thank you. Yes, this is Totoro. Just some sketches. It's not AI. The artist apparently is really known for his detailed dragon art. Crazy to say sketch and final. According to his Twitter, I refuse to call it X. Same. He's a freelance artist for Ubisoft and the Wizards of the Coast. Ah, that would make sense. His feed is a bunch of anti-AI. Awesome. Nightshade. Yes, I have heard of Nightshade before. There's a video of him painting on that exact piece. That's awesome. They call it Nightshade because it grows in the shade before realizing what it can do. That's interesting. I didn't know that that's why it was Nightshade. But that's awesome. I know that it was very specifically supposed to like very subtly poison AI. Nightshade was the drug that women would use to kill their abusive husbands back in the day, and we stand that, honestly. All right, let's spin the wheel. Used to. I'm sure they still do. That was something. There is a very specific like dip in uh husband deaths in like the when was that? Like 1890 when they gave women rights to vote and stuff, separation, getting divorced and whatever. Um there was a very specific dip in men dying in strange ways after women were allowed to just get divorced. It's very funny, almost like. Anyway, go off, queen. All right, spin that wheel. Who we got? I can probably do one more and then I gotta bounce. Space Dandy. Crap, that's gonna be hard. He's so detailed. But I love him. He's so cool. Why did when I look up Space Dandy, computer, why did when I don't know why I said it funny like that. When I looked up Space Dandy, the first thing that came up was Cowboy Bebop. That seems like an insult. Not an insult in that Cowboy Bebop is bad, but that they're very different. I guess not that different, but storytelling wise, setting wise, same thing. Storytelling and character and designs and just a lot of differences. Let's do that. And actually, let's do this. That and I really like his little cat friend. I forget his name. I never finished Space Dandy, but I think I watched season one. It was phenomenal. Now they got Lazarus coming up too. Is it just called Lazarus? The one that was like the spiritual successor to Cowboy Bebop. Oops. There we go. Trying to get a wacky expression. There we go. That not wacky, but better. No, I don't want to save it. Just want to copy. Is his name just Dandy? And the Space Dandy is like the title? I don't know. I didn't watch it. Yeah, because most women were arranged. That is true. And on a high note, I think same people worked on both of them. Gotcha. No, I think you're right. I think there was. It, I don't think it was the same creator, but I do think there was a lot of the same stylistic choices. I think the animation was well done in that same way. They also came out very closely together, I think, but I could be wrong. Okay. Fortunately, I don't have a full shot of his hair. That's crazy. Both were produced by Masahiko Minami. Interesting. I don't know who that is. I assume it's the guy who. I don't know if that's the director. You said produced. Is that the studio? I don't even know anything about Cowboy Bebop, and that's crazy because it's one of my favorites. Do I have Spike Spiegel on the wheel? Do I? Hold on. Hold on. This is insane. I have to. Hold on. I haven't done Spike yet, have I? Oh my god, I don't have Spike Spiegel on this wheel. That's insane. That's crazy. That's insane. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I made it this far without noticing that. That's crazy. Okay. All right. Let's do a test. I think it's just dandy. This is gonna be so rough. It's got like a chiseled jaw. I have to nail this. It's got some very thick eyelashes. Oh, I had an easy time doing Totoro. Totoro compared to this, nuts. Crazy differences. It's like a JoJo's character. Very specifically, he looks like the Redline guy. If anybody's seen Redline. These wacky mouths. Got a butt chin too. He's got so much going on in his character design. This is nuts. What time is it? Ah. All right, I just gotta go. I just gotta go. I just gotta go, and this is gonna suck. It's okay. We all learn as artists, and I'm gonna learn today that I can't do Space Dandy in 10 minutes. I do have to go right after. Dip. I gotta scoot. All right, here we go. Here we go. Thank God for this, man. Trial by fire, right? I do have default shapes that I go to when I'm drawing my guys. I do know that. I'm recognizing that as I'm doing this panicked. Too close and too big. Sweating. Everything's going wrong. Honestly, giving like if anybody's ever seen what's it called? My brain shut down. My brain just shut the fuck down. My brain just shut the fuck down. Oh my god, my brain is off. I can see it in my head. I can see it in my head. See it in my head. I can see it in my head. See it in my head. I just watched it. I just finished watching it. Devilman Crybaby. Ah, got it. Like this looks like Devilman Crybaby. Just a little bit. Whatsoever. Just I don't like a mullet. I think I hate a mullet actually. I think that's what I'm learning about myself today is that not only is this hard to draw, but I also don't like a mullet. Does kind of have that Spike Spiegel chin too, or the lip thing. God, I made his mouth too here. Messing it up. I'm messing it up. This was the easier one. This was an easier one. I messed it up. Three more? Three more? Shit. Room. Oh, it's also very funny that you had said that the back of the head shots would be great for Totoro. Didn't get a single one. Didn't get a single one, and I had like five in a row on. I don't remember who else I've done before, but didn't have a single one. It was crazy. They're terrible, but they're certainly not my best. Could have benefited from some more time. That's the same pose. I'm gonna skip that. There we go. Did, did cheat a little bit and go over time, but I wanted to flush that one out because it had really good potential with everything else. Cheating. I'm cheating. Cheating. There we go. Okay. That's all I wanted. Not the worst, especially considering how little prep time I had for that. But I could have done better. All right. Let's check out chat real quick, and then I got a dip. The cat's name is Meow. Thank you. I forgot. Bandai Visual Company. Interesting. The wheel has a lot of people. I love Redline. I just recently watched it. Phenomenal. So good. Visually stunning. I couldn't tell you about the story. None of it made sense to me. I was also talking over it, but it was very funny. Very fun. Letting you know I'm cleaning, but I'll check up on you later. Thank you. I appreciate you still being here. President of Bones. Oh my god. Bones. Studio Bones is phenomenal. Do you accept drawing requests? I do have a character wheel. Oh my, he is. Yo, don't even know the name of your future boss. I don't know if he's gonna hire me. I was wondering if you could draw one of my OCs. Take your time, brother Spine. Uh, okay. I'm trying to think of how to do the OCs. I have a Discord. If you join the Discord, we're doing Art Fight for this month, this month's challenge. If you want to participate, you're welcome to put your OC there. I assume that you're going to use them for Art Fight, but if not, I don't know. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to draw your OC unless you show me what it looks like. So either way, you're going to have to put it in the Discord. But yes. Anywho, that is all the time I have for today. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't, you better tune in next time because you'll learn something then. Yeah, that's all I got for you. Goodbye.